The Russian occupiers in the Pokrovsk sector of the Donetsk region are critically short of military equipment and transport, the Ukrainian partisan movement Atesh reported on its Telegram channel. According to Atesh, there is a severe equipment shortage, particularly in the 1,442nd Motorized Rifle Regiment of the Russian Occupation Army, which is stationed in the Pokrovsk direction. They are short not only of military equipment and vehicles, but even motorcycles. It has reached the point where the Russian occupiers are confiscating vehicles from local residents. Furthermore, the occupiers themselves have begun stealing cars and motorcycles from each other more frequently. In some cases, Russian soldiers refuse to participate in combat without equipment, confiscating vehicles from local residents on orders from their command. This leads to a disruption of logistics and increased casualties among personnel. It's worth noting that the Pokrovsk sector has been the hottest section of the front for several months now. The enemy is attempting to encircle and capture Pokrovsk. To this end, the command of the Russian occupation forces has concentrated a force of over 110,000 troops in the area. The situation is particularly grave in the Dobropillya area, where the Ukrainian Armed Forces are attempting to encircle 5 brigades of the Russian occupation army. According to the Dnipro Joint Monitoring Group, the enemy has sharply increased its activity in the Dobropilya sector near Pokrovsk. For example, Russian occupiers doubled the number of assaults on Ukrainian Armed Forces positions in the Dobropillya sector. Fighting is ongoing near the villages of Rusyn Yar, Sofiyivka, Shakhove, Novoye Shakhove, Vladimirovka, Sukhetske, Poltavka, Novopavlovka, and Zolotoy Kolodez. Recall in Donetsk, the Russian army is losing momentum in Ukraine. The Russians have seen their greatest advance in the south of the Donetsk Oblast, where they are attempting to press toward Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Here, approximately 40 square kilometers have come under Russian control. Another 9 square kilometers have been captured near Lyman and Kupiansk. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces have managed to recapture some positions, more than 3 square kilometers near Pokrovsk and Konstantinivka, as well as 7 square kilometers in Sumy Oblast. At the same time, it is reported that against the backdrop of the slowdown, the losses of the Russian army are enormous.
Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov revealed that he reacts to rumors about his health in a unique way. He immediately performs 50 push-ups. He claims this has become something of a habit whenever ill-wishers spread false information. Information about his illness periodically appears in the public sphere. In July, Kadyrov denied rumors of his death, declaring at a meeting with members of the Republic's government, "You won't live to see him." He also recalled that back in December 2022, during a live broadcast on TV, he did 35 push-ups right in the studio to clearly demonstrate his good physical condition. Earlier, Kadyrov invited everyone spreading rumors about his illness to meet in the gym. "I strongly advise anyone incapable of telling the truth from a lie on the internet to take a walk in the open and clear their heads," the Chechen leader wrote in a telegram earlier. "I am alive and kicking," Kadyrov said at that time. "A doctor is needed for the authors of these fantasy theories," he added. Chechen leader said that he is Putin's foot soldier. "I am Putin's assistant, loyal companion, and ardent fighter in all areas." Journalist asked, "You have repeatedly said that you are a pawn of Russian President Vladimir Putin. What do you mean by that?" Kadyrov said, "In every sense. I call myself a foot soldier in ensuring national security and political development. I am his assistant, loyal companion, and ardent fighter in all areas." Putin appointed Kadyrov in 2007 after the assassination of his father and predecessor, Akhmet Kadyrov. Initially fighting against Russian forces in the First Chechen War, Kadyrov Sr. later switched sides, rising to prominence within Moscow's ranks.
Russian propagandist Vladimir Solovyov has found himself embroiled in a scandal. In his TV report about the Russian army, a poorly blurred signs and distinctive interior details revealed the location of a Rubicon base, an elite drone unit of the Russian army. An investigation by Radio Liberty journalists revealed the propagandist's resounding failure. As it turns out, the base isn't located in a secret bunker at all, but in the Patriot Exhibition Center near Moscow, the very same venue that hosts military shows and tourist exhibitions. It was details from Solovyov's video, not official videos from the Ministry of Defense or Rubicon itself, that made it possible to pinpoint the geolocation. Solovyov's editors tried to blur the footage, but they did it so poorly that the video showed signs and columns with the hall's unique decoration. As a result, journalists only needed a couple of seconds of footage to piece together the puzzle. Now, the secrecy of one of the most hyped units of the Russian army can be considered conditional. Rubicon was considered elite in the Russian army. Its fighters were called Cyber Special Forces and heroes of the drone war. However, it has now emerged that the base is actually located in a public building regularly accessible to outsiders. Furthermore, back in May, the center was hit by a Ukrainian drone Lyuty. Instead of a show of force, Russian propaganda once again exposed the army. It turned out that Solovyov himself had exposed what the Ministry of Defense had tried so hard to conceal. The Russian Center for Advanced Unmanned Technologies, Rubicon, first became publicly known in October 2024, after the center was inspected by Defense Minister Andrei Belousov. Until October the 11th, when a video of the minister's visit was published, the name Rubicon was not mentioned in the media or on social networks, although, according to the official version, Rubicon was created on the personal orders of Belousov on the basis of one of the Russian unmanned aviation units back in August 2024, and in 2 months managed to destroy more than 400 units of weapons and equipment of the armed forces of Ukraine. 6 months later, Rubicon's official channel announced until mid-January 2025, the Rubicon channel published videos of targets hit most exclusively in the Kursk region. On February the 6th, the Ministry of Defense specifically mentioned Rubicon among the units participating in the counter-offensive against Ukrainian Armed Forces positions, and 3 days earlier, Vladimir Solovyov's program on the Russia 1 television channel aired a lengthy propaganda segment about the Rubicon Center. Rubicon soldiers claim credit for cutting off the Ukrainian army's logistics lines in the Sudza area. A separate section of the film, dedicated to the Kursk operation, is dedicated to the center's anniversary. The project has been in existence since at least July 2024. Since late January 2025, Rubicon's geographic reach has expanded. Videos of strikes showed targets in the Kupiansk and Pokrovsk sectors in mid-February, in the Kharkiv, Vuhledarsk sectors, and in early March, in the Yuzhno-Donetsk sector. Beginning in May, Rubicon operated primarily in the Donetsk region, supporting Russia's summer offensive.